It's the most wonderful time of the year. Minky Couture's holiday season is here. Wrap your loved ones in the gift of luxury with our softest, coziest blankets ever. Perfect for movie nights, chilly mornings, or those magical Christmas Eve moments. From kids to grandparents, there's a Minky for everyone. Shop our exclusive holiday collection now, in-store or online at minkycouture.com. But hurry, Santa's favorites won't last long. Minky Couture, making your holidays merry, bright, and oh so cozy.
Welcome to the Barbershop Show with Marcus Trufant and Terry Holloman. I am, of course, Terry Holloman, T. Holla.
And yes, I am Marcus Trufant. What up?
And it's been a minute since we saw you guys, so what's been happening in your world, man? We are back in the game. Barbershop is now being brought to you by Home Trust Mortgages and Loans. We are happy to be partnered with them this year for the rest of the football season. We got lots of cool stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to be discussing the Seahawks, the Washington Huskies, my dogs, maybe slip in some talk about the Cougars if it comes up some kind of way tonight. And, of course, we're going to talk about Snoop Dogg. Why not? And Kanye West, and a few more things if it comes up. But true, it's been a long time since I saw you, man. You even look different since the last time I seen you.
Man, T, I'm just trying to enjoy life, man. I'm trying to slim down. I'm trying to clean it up. Not physically, though, because I'm going big beard, going big fro, man. I'm just, I kind of been feeling this natural thing, like, Jay-Z. Jim Carrey-ish. Just let it, man. Just let my hair down, bro.
Are you almost like you feel like you're going like au natural, like
something
Rastafari,
like
man. What's
something.
up?
I don't know what it is, man. It's just
you going back? Are you going back to vegan too? Along with it, vegan and long hair?
Not quite vegan, man. I'm I like my sweets. I like my goodies. And, Halloween is coming, so
yes, that is your holiday.
I gotta stay on my Reese's, but yeah, man. I just been kind of going through it, man. A lot of the extra stuff, I'm just not here for it right now, T.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, you got a lot of family stuff going on. These kids are active back in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Outside activities still popping like they usually do.
Every day we do. Every day we do. It's popping, man. And I don't know, the last time I was on, I don't know if everybody was in school last show we had. So Cassius is finally doing half day. So Me and the wife, Fab Five Mom, we get about 3 hours of total silence in the house. And it's
how you been figuring out
like a dream.
How you been figuring out to do with your 3 hours? Because I haven't got that yet.
Right.
I'm still not there yet.
Yeah.
But I'm trying. It's goals. It's my relationship goals to get 3 hours of free time with the missus.
And it's not really free time. It could be focus time, but we can actually just focus on what we're trying to do instead of always having one eye on the kids. So.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I want to say congratulations to you, man,
Much
for getting those 3 hours,
hey,
man. You
thanks,
got all
brother.
your kids in school.
Yeah.
Now the next step is to get them all graduated, but you still got one just in preschool.
Half day. So, but I got one that's about to be in high school, so I'm nervous on that side too. So I'm excited on one hand, and on the other hand, I'm a little nervous. So
yeah, I get it, man. I've been in your shoes, man. So welcome to the club, man. Got all your kids in school. I got all mine in school. Everything is full swing around here. Getting the barbershop back up and going because the people have been asking for it. So we are giving the people what they want. The barbershop is back in effect, and again, brought to you by Home Trust Loans and Mortgages. True, lots of stuff has been happening out there in the world, man, that we've been missing out on. Number one, I know we don't pay a whole lot of attention to baseball, but I just kind of wanted to start the show off talking about baseball since no one in Seattle is talking about baseball. Actually, to tell you the truth, no one has been talking about baseball in Seattle, like almost, and it's sad to say, through the entire baseball season.
That's
It was a sad year for the Mariners. They didn't do a whole lot. They didn't have a whole lot of success. They're allegedly in this rebuilding phase. So, and it's just the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because before we recorded the show tonight, we were watching baseball on TV and just seeing the excitement in the crowd. We're watching the Washington Nationals take on the St. Louis Cardinals, and we just don't have that kind of excitement in Seattle. And I feel like it's something that we're missing out on.
100% missing out, even for somebody like me, like us, that's not really into baseball, or I would say watching baseball, but it would be different because I used to watch it in the playoffs. Like once the playoffs come around, I didn't do it this year. It's the playoffs right now, but that's when it gets really exciting, and you see the crowd is more into it, and the stadiums are fuller, and it's just a lot more energy in the stadium. So it's just like not having the Sonics here, man. When you got a team or a program that's it's just missing, and you go to other cities and you can just feel that energy, and you get a little jelly, man. You get a little jealous when it's not the same around here, man. It's different.
Yeah, it is different, and I just can't put my finger on it because, you think about young kids that have grown up in the Seattle area or in the state of Washington, people that are 12, 13, 14 years old, 15 years old. They know nothing about Mariners being a successful winning team. The time that I came here as a young man in high school, the Mariners were you think about it, they were a successful team. They had superstars on the team. They had King Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson. We even had what's his name? That was in New York. That's with J-Lo.
Rodriguez?
Mr. Rodriguez was on the
Right.
squad. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of real deal players, and we just don't have that type of atmosphere here in Seattle with the baseball team anymore. And it's kind of sad, kind of lacking. Hopefully some things will pick up. I don't think, the way that the management is speaking about it, that it'll be anytime soon. They're in a rebuilding phase. They're talking about 3, 4, 5 years out that the team will be any good. But hopefully things will change for them. The way that it kind of changed for the Seahawks some years back. And I actually want to talk because, I was thinking about it today, and I was thinking about the Seahawks' success and the wave that they've been riding. I would say that you were part of the organization when it really started to turn the corner in the 2000s. Would you agree with that? Not to toot your own
Are you
horn.
asking me if I'm taking credit for the Seahawks being good right now, T?
Yeah, I would never do that.
Well, I would say the group that came in that early 2000-ish time. I came in 2003. That's when things did start to. We won the division. I don't know how many years in a row from like 2003 to 7-ish or something like that. I think we won't talk about one of those years, the Jim Moore year.
Oh, yeah,
Put Jim Moore on blast, right? But year after year, we was going to the playoffs. We was winning the division, and people did get used to that. So I call it the rock star era of the Seahawks. Shortly followed after that,
Right.
of course, with Pete Carroll and everybody that came in. But I would agree with you, Terry, that was the start, and it was just one of those things, man. And the 12s were still the 12s then, but I don't know if it was as I would say they were nationwide, but they really didn't come out of hiding like that. Now,
right.
the 12s is everywhere, and it's a good thing.
It's
a good thing.
They've really popularized the Seahawks. Like I said, I remember in the early to mid '90s, the Seahawks. They had a couple of good players. They put some, you think about the Cortez Kennedy. He was probably one of the greatest defensive linemen to play the game. He was there in the early '90s. But outside of that, they didn't have a whole lot of success until the mid early 2000s. But I think it's just a matter of the environment that you're in, the environment that you create. And the Seahawks did a very good job of creating it during the whole Mike Holmgren era. And then I think when Pete Carroll came in and took over, and like you said, the rock star era was kind of ushered in, I think now that's why we are seeing so much success, because it comes from the top down in that organization, much of which we'd like to see in the Mariners organization. But talking about the Seahawks, they just had a big win this past weekend in Cleveland. Big win, 32-28 over your boy Baker Mayfield. Nick Chubb.
My boy.
Your boy. Yeah,
My boy. All right.
But they got a big win, and now the Hawks are sitting at 5-1. Now, True, I got to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with everybody out there listening in the barbershop. I, for one, did not see this coming. I thought that the Seahawks were going to be in a world of trouble this season just because of the fact that – let me back that up. I didn't want to say they were going to be in a world of trouble. I just did not foresee them being at 5-1 right now because of everything that happened in this last offseason. The Seahawks lost Frank Clark. They lost Doug Baldwin, who has been their most prolific receiver over the better part of the last decade. Earl Thomas was out of here in an unceremonious type of fashion. Jaron Reed was suspended for the first 6 games of the season. Their first-round draft pick, L.J. Collier, was hurt. He's still basically been hurt. He's seen action in maybe 2 games, limited action, and he's been a healthy scratch in several other games this season so far. I just did not see 5-1. Question is, did you see it coming?
Well, I would say no, T. I think I would agree with you on that. That all the things that you just named off, the chips were stacked up against the Hawks, and actually starting out in the season, even though they were winning games, it was like, okay, that they're barely getting these victories, they're getting these nasty wins, and it didn't really look like the Seahawks we were used to seeing. So it was like, okay, do they need to get warmed up, or are they just not as good maybe as they've been in the past few years? So I would say it's a pleasant surprise, but what I also would say, it's scary because they have been winning these games and they've been getting things turned around, getting things fixed up exactly when they need to. So if they can really and I think they've been playing pretty well, but it's not exactly what we're used to seeing. I've been saying this for a number of years. We're spoiled and we're jaded because we used to seeing the Hawks always at the top and just destroying everybody. But it's not always going to be like that. But I think it's a thing that the Hawks are going to be really good. I think they're just getting warmed up now, and that's a scary thing because they could really make a lot of noise, man.
Yeah, you can. And you know what's crazy? So I heard an interview actually earlier today where Russell Wilson actually said that this team is the closest team that he's had as far as bond-wise, guys getting along, guys hanging out, that he's had since he's been in Seattle. That's and crazy, that really took me back because I was thinking, like, you think about the team that was here when they won the Super Bowl.
Right.
That was an amazing team full of all-stars, and it seemed like they were so connected. Like, you talk about the Legion of Boom. That was a unit that really was stuck together, seemingly on the field and off the field. I know a lot of those guys were very good friends off the field as well with the offensive players. So for Russell Wilson to say this is the closest team since he's been here says a lot. So not just that, but I also, I alluded to it earlier that I did not expect it to be a 5-1 team at this point in the season. But on the flip side of that, I will say that I've always thought that any team that is led by Russell Wilson always has a chance to win. And if you think about it, if you think about the Seahawks' recent history since Russell Wilson has been here, I can only think of one game that the Seahawks were blown out, where they did not have a chance to win. Every other single game over the course of the last 7-8 seasons has been a contest. And I think that is a large part due to not only Pete Carroll, because we already know he is the guru, the Zen master, the man who makes things happen behind the scenes, but Russell Wilson. And I think Russell Wilson is responsible. I think without Russell Wilson being on this team, I think they would lose probably at least a quarter more games. I say he's responsible for willing this team to at least a quarter of the wins they've had over the last 8 years. So my thing is Russell Wilson right now, in my opinion, is having an MVP season. The question to you is, what do you think about Russ right now?
Russ, you said you think that they lose on
a quarter of the games.
A quarter of the games. I know that they lose a quarter of the games, if not more.
Yeah.
Because when you look at this, Russ is the guy, and I would even go out on the limb to say that nobody is playing better than Russ in the NFL currently. And that's where you get the MVP talks, et cetera, et cetera. But Russ, how he just even outside of the numbers, man, this dude just looks so comfortable, so locked in, so what you want your leader of your team to be, so what you want your franchise quarterback to be. And it's crazy of how he's really it's almost like Pete put him in a cup or something and
mixed him up, put all the right ingredients in.
Put a bunch of magic dust in there, and you come out with Russ, and it's crazy because this dude is Pete Carroll on the field pretty much. Yeah, and that's what you want from your quarterback. And this dude, the team is following behind him. He's down to the wire in games. He's making all the right decisions. It's just crazy. You really can't say nothing bad about the dude. The only thing you might be able to say is you might not like his haircut.
That's about it. And that's funny you say that.
I like it though, but
I know you do.
But
Mr.
others
long
might
hair.
not. Yeah, long hair don't care. Man.
Yeah, he put his back slick from time to time. Every now and again, he got to look like.
Everybody ain't able though.
I know.
Everybody don't got that. Grade.
Why you looking at mine right now? I have no grade at all. So we're not gonna talk about Russ here that much. But seriously though, the thing about Russell, when I said that about him being at the helm, being at the quarterback position of the Seattle Seahawks. They always have a chance to win, and you watch him in those situations. And I think that I can't even remember. I think it's been like 24 times that he's led a fourth quarter comeback since he's been a Seahawk, which is, at this point in his career is pretty crazy, pretty prolific. You just watch the way he acts at the end of the game, and there is no panic. There's no anxiety. So you see a lot of quarterbacks at the end of the game, they start making these erratic passes and try to make the deep ball and make these things happen. But you watch, he's just so methodical at getting his team to the line of scrimmage, keeping everybody calm, keeping everybody on the same page, making sure everybody knows exactly what they're doing. And he'll throw a little dump, little out route, little swing route, check down. Then I'll spike the ball, stop the clock. Then the next thing you know, he's gone down the field 50 yards and putting points on the board, and the Seahawks are winning again. So, again, you think he's having an MVP-type season? I definitely think he's an MVP. Mm-hmm. If they had the voting today, I think Russell Wilson would be the MVP. I know there are a lot of quarterbacks out there that have some gaudy numbers, like Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
But I don't think he's yet in the same class as a Russell Wilson. You look at what Russell's done this season. He's had 14 touchdowns, man. Out of his last 206 passes dating back to last season, no interceptions, bro. 14 touchdowns, 0 picks. I think he's the best in the league right now, and I think, there was a lot of people as the season started were disrespecting Russell by not even putting him in the top 5.
They're always disrespecting somebody on the Seahawks, T.
Yeah, they are.
It ain't right if they ain't doing it like that. And you know what else I like about Russ, man, and what some people may not see, but I see – this year, maybe even especially, I see a different. I want to call it cocky, like a good cocky, like
Sierra effect.
I didn't say it, Terry.
I did.
No. Well, maybe, but I just see this energy from Russ, like he got everything under control, and like he knows that if he does the right things right and put people in the right position, if everybody does their job, that good things are going to happen. And I just feel that energy from him, and I think that goes down to the rest of the team. So, again, I say it's more than just the numbers with Russ. It's what he brings to this team, and he brings a lot.
I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you what the effect is.
Yeah.
It's the Matrix. It's the Matrix effects.
Okay.
He's Neo. You know Neo, right? You remember the movie? Does anybody remember the movie? If anybody that's out there that doesn't, go look, put it on your on-demand, pull up the Matrix, and watch Neo from the Matrix. He had to believe. And that's my Morpheus voice. You have to believe, Neo. And then he believed, and then anything could happen. He could do anything. He could dodge bullets. So I think maybe Russ believes.
In the Matrix.
He could dodge bullets. I believe he could fly.
And not the R. Kelly version.
I believe he could touch the sky.
No.
Oh, I'm not allowed to talk like that. I'm sorry. My bad. Before we get off these Seahawks, though, man. So let's take Russell Wilson out of the equation because we already determined that he's the MVP of the league. Outside of Russ, who would be your most valuable player on this Seahawks roster? There's been a lot of guys that have been out there balling, doing their thing, contributing to the success that this team has seen this season. Taking Russell Wilson out of the equation, which one would be your MVP?
And, this was easy for me, T. And some people may not like it. Some people might enjoy it. But, the wide receivers have been doing great.
They have.
Tyler Lockett has been, I think, having a great season, and he's stepping up to the plate. But I think when you talk about what these Seahawks want to do every game, and they want to make sure that they can ground and pound and run the ball, Chris Carson will be my MVP.
This dude stole my MVP.
Gotta be the MVP. Outside of Russ, because I know he's had a couple fumbles, but I don't care. Yep. You feed this man, and he's another one of those gentlemen that his energy is contagious. He's out there on the field, and he runs disrespectful.
Oh, yes, he does.
He's like beast mode. I don't like to say it, but he is like that. He can run through you. He can shake you or jump over you. A little bit of everything, and the way this dude finishes runs, he runs with the chip on his shoulder, and he runs like you have done something disrespectful to him. So defenses don't like to play against that. So I love this dude's just the way that he approaches the game, just like I'm here to inflict damage, and I'm here to do my job, and I'm not going to showboat. I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to make you look bad because I'm going to do my job.
Yep. You know, it's crazy because obviously we did not discuss this prior to the show.
I went
But
first.
I let you go first. Yeah, I let you do that. But Chris Carson is my MVP of this team as well. I think that he sets everything up for this Seahawk offense. Everything goes after he goes, and on first and second downs, we're getting 3 or 4 yards a pop. As a running back, you want to make sure you're getting 4 yards a pop, and he's doing that. And if you can get 4 yards a pop at the running back position, you're winning. It means every 3 downs you're getting the first down, right? If I do my math correct, you get 3 downs or 4 downs at a time. That's 12 yards.
Yeah,
so you
3,
win
6, 9.
12.
12.
Let me do my calculator. But yeah, and like you said, he just runs so physical, and I wouldn't compare him to beast mode, even though you're right. They're very similar. They do some things, as far as being elusive when they need to be. But I would call him more like an Adrian Peterson type of running back.
Okay,
He's just
you
see Adrian Peterson when he was running in his heyday, he was looking to inflict damage on people. He was looking to run through people. And Chris Carson is just such a freak of nature physically. He obviously does a good job of keeping himself in shape during the offseason, shows up looking like the Ultimate Warrior from WWE. So, Chris Carson's my guy too. So, shout out to the Seahawks, man. 5-1. They haven't been 3. I think they're 3-0 on the road, which they haven't been. I think they said in like 40 years, 37 years since they have been 3-0 on the road. So, shout out to the Seahawks. Hope I didn't jinx you. Go ahead.
It used to be a thing around here. The Hawks can't travel because we travel the furthest or something like that. All around the league, and
Well, that's all we do around here is we dispel myths like that. We get rid of stereotypes like that around here in Seattle, and it's particularly in the barbershop. We do the unorthodox.
I like it. I like it.
Speaking of unorthodox, I'm going to talk about something that you might find unorthodox right now, True, and it's the Washington Huskies. You want to talk about that?
Sure. Go right ahead,
Go right on ahead, man. No, I have to talk about my Huskies because it's kind of been a weird season for them so far. They had a lot of hope. They had a lot of promise. They had some big goals at the beginning of the year. They went to the Rose Bowl last year, lost to Ohio State. They came back thinking that, we're going to build off that and take the next step and probably have a shot at going to the college football playoffs. Unfortunately for the Huskies, they got a couple losses already on the season. And, one of them was against Cal, which is a Pac-12 North opponent, which obviously the Huskies need to win the Pac-12 North to have another shot at winning the entire Pac-12 championship. And they really put themselves behind the 8 ball with that one. And they backed it up with another loss to Stanford. But they fought back. They've this past weekend they beat Arizona down in the desert, 51-27. So they got a couple things that are working for them. I don't know if you saw. I'm pretty sure you didn't watch the UW versus Cal game. True.
No, I missed that one, Terry.
You just happened to miss that one.
Yeah.
Caught all the rest of them, I'm sure.
No, I think I missed some of those too. But,
but no, I just wanted to just take you back to this Cal game because even if you didn't see the Cal game, if you were in Seattle, Washington, you experienced what I experienced, and I want to get your take on that night. Were you around in Seattle the night that they had the ridiculous once-in-a-lifetime thunderstorm?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where were you at? Where were you hanging out?
I was at the house, man, and I think maybe it was just kids weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
The kids weren't there because they would have all been running in the room. They would have been scared and all that kind of stuff. But it was crazy. We were sitting there watching TV and kept seeing the flash, the lightning and the thunder. But it was pretty to look at, but it was crazy. Yeah.
It probably was unnerving because I was actually inside of Husky Stadium watching the game. One of my other jobs outside of the barbershop is I do the show called Talking Huskies on Q13, which comes on Friday nights 11 p.m. and Saturday mornings on Joe TV 11 a.m. Shameless plug. But I was stuck up in the press box, man, for exactly 2 hours and 59 minutes. while no game was going on, just watching the rain and the thunder. They would just postpone the game. They were going to have the game come hell or high water that night, regardless. So we sat up in there for almost 3 hours.
I heard like they didn't even make an announcement like for the first, I don't know, hour or 45 minutes or something.
Yeah,
like that.
well, so they made announcements throughout the stadium because obviously they sent everybody undercover into the in the stands, into the runway or whatever you call it, where they have the concession stands and all that. People were hunkered down in there, and they would make announcements every now and again saying, we have to wait till the storm passes to bring all the players back out, blah 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 blah. And it just lasted for 3 hours. And here I am sitting up in the press box, man. I didn't know what to do. Like, I wanted to go to sleep. I wanted to go home, but I couldn't do really either one of those things. So I ate a bunch of hot dogs. I ate hot dogs and drank coffee. Now, who in the hell have you ever heard? Yeah, exactly, right?
It make my stomach hurt just hearing that. Man.
It was nasty.
No, the bathrooms would stink. If y'all was all stuck and all y'all could do was eat hot dogs.
Hot dogs and coffee, man. Listen, because I'm trying to stay awake.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what am I going to do? I might as well just eat these hot dogs.
Just like a husky, man.
That's like an old dog, right? But the dogs are doing okay. They came back. They did lose that game versus Cal. There was been the big story of the year. A couple of big stories have been the return of Jacob Eason, who was an all-star, all-American quarterback out of Lake Stevens, Washington, just north of Seattle, who went to Georgia for his freshman year and ended up leaving due to some circumstances that he, the whole transfer portal. Guys don't like the way things are set up for them at their position now, and they can jump in that transfer portal and go somewhere else. Jacob wound up coming back to the Washington Huskies, and he's done well. And they are saying he has a bright future ahead of him in the National Football League, but he still has some things that he has to accomplish here at Washington. So that's one of the big stories here at Washington this season so far. Watching the Jacob Eason era and how it's progressed. A second thing that's been happening, and that's just been recently, and this is one of the things I want to get your take on, is the Huskies have gone out in the offseason and brought in some top flight receiver talent, some young guys, and they haven't been getting much play this season. And a lot of the Husky fans have been up in arms saying, why aren't our freshman receivers getting any play? Since you brought in these top guys, you need to play them. They're going to leave. They're going to quit. If we're losing these games, why not let them play? And a lot of people just don't understand the whole process with playing freshmen and getting these young guys and in the games, and the coaches are really having a hard time explaining to fans why they're not playing. So my question to you is, I know you played as a freshman. Mm-hmm. So what is your take on guys coming in right away and playing as true freshmen? I know a lot of the times there's usually a reason. There's usually something that's lacking or something that happens where a true freshman is thrust into playing as a true.
I think every situation is different, T. I think with the kids mentally and physically, sometimes it just doesn't add up or it doesn't match up together. But I like to see young guys come in and play. But I think coach knows best, and the fans are always gonna have something to say. So I don't really see that as being a thing. I know sometimes from the outside looking in, it may feel like you're on the hot seat as far as the coach or the organization or whatever. But I think coach knows best, and if a young kid is not ready, I think it's does the kid a huge disservice if you put them in too early and they get banged up or mentally they go in the tank and they may not come out of it, and it could put a wrench in their career or whatever they're trying to do, and you may not get the bang for your buck that you went out and got this young buck for.
So going back in history, I know we don't have the music to play. This is one of our old segments that we would do here in the barbershop called Back in the Day. So I'm going to take you back in the day, True, back to a young Marcus Trufant, number 45 at the Washington State Cougars. What was the situation that you started as a true freshman? Like I said, I know a lot of times it'll be maybe somebody gets injured or you just come in and you just beat whoever's at your position. Which was your situation?
In my situation, if I can remember correctly, T, I think it was a combination of both. Team wasn't very good that year. Things really weren't going well. I was having, I would play good in practice. I would do good stuff in practice. And the coach, I think he trusted me. So I would say maybe currently with the Huskies that the coach may not have full trust in these guys yet. They probably got great talent. It could be the playbook. It could be a little bit of everything. But for me, I was always a guy that would practice 100%. I would treat practice like the game. So maybe that was a part of it. And I went in and I never looked back. And it was like maybe third game of the season or something like that. And that year I think we went like 3-9 or something like that. We had a terrible record. But, I got my first chance to get on the field, and I really enjoyed it, and I never looked back, man. I made the most of the situation. It's been like that all throughout my career, too. That's the same thing that happened to me in the league. Injuries happen. Sean Springs was here at the time.
Right.
And he went down in the preseason. So I'm sitting there. My eyes got big, man. The coach is looking at me. He was like, "True, let's go." So I was like, all right.
Now?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
It's time.
Yes, sir. And like you said, no looking back. The Washington Huskies, they wanted one of the top receivers that they brought in last year was a guy by the name of Puka Nacua. And that's a hell of a name, ain't it? Puka Nacua.
I like that.
It is pretty fresh, yeah. Right? And so the fans were waiting for Puka Nacua because he was Mr. Everything. He was Mr. Gatorade Player of the Year out of Utah, Mr. Football out of Utah. Caught more touchdowns and more passes and has more yards than anybody in that state history. And he was just literally up until the last game versus Arizona last weekend, he had one catch, and it was one touchdown. And he hadn't been thrown the ball since. And then last weekend versus Arizona, after a lot of, people made a lot of noise and a lot of stink, they put him in the game, and he was the leading receiver. 3 catches, 97 yards for the young freshman. So I think he's made a name for himself. He's actually proven himself to the coaches, and maybe we'll see more of him. And you can read more about the Huskies and what we're talking about there on my Sports Illustrated site. Just go to Sports Illustrated, look for the Washington Huskies tag. I will be talking about everything Husky there. True. Do you have anything you want to chime in about your Cougs while we're here talking about college football?
Well, I want to just be I got to get real with me and my Coug fans. Yeah. I think we got to start talking about this, and it's cool. I'm a Coug through and through, so I start with that, right? But something has to give with the defense.
Oh.
I want to start there.
Okay.
Just the points that are being allowed and just the inconsistency with the technique. I know a lot of these guys are great athletes, individual athletes, but some of the team ball that's not being played and taking care of the guy next to you and that type of thing, I'm really not seeing it for some reason. And I know they show flashes of doing great stuff, but good teams that don't do the right thing on a regular basis, they're just okay teams. And they go 500 they go 500, and that is what it is. And you are good some days, you're bad some days. Good some days, bad other days. So what I'm trying to get around to, T, is that it's not very fun to be a Coug right now.
Oh,
it's not very fun.
I mean, speaking about the defense,
right?
They've had their troubles. Obviously, the offense puts up a gazillion points and a gazillion yards. They've been doing a good job there, but as you said, defensively, they've had some troubles. The coach, the defensive coordinator, walked out on the team, so it's tough because again, it comes from the environment. Comes from the top down, I think, the climate and the expectations that are set by the coaching staff.
Top down, yeah. So we all know that Leach is a little different.
You know where I was going at.
he is definitely a little different. So I'm gonna let you finish. And to be honest,
why you give me the Kanye? Look, I'm gonna let you finish, but
I'm gonna let you finish. But I wasn't a believer at first when Leach came, but over time I've grown to appreciate his magic or whatever, and just with the different style of coach that he is, I've grown to appreciate it, and that's how Pete Carroll was actually when he first came to the team. Everybody thought he was college this, too rah-rah, but it's proven itself and it works. And I think I feel a little bit the same way about Leach.
But don't – and I'm not trying to put you on the spot here with your alma mater, but I'm just – and this is maybe just in general. Don't take this as a Wazoo question, but in general. Do you think that sometimes the magic can wear off?
The magic definitely could wear off if it's not based on the fundamentals. So maybe some of this well, I can't really say much about the offense. It can be up and down as well, but the air raid and what they do that's how it's set up. So the defense that it's supposed to come with that, maybe you just give teams field goals, but to just be letting people run it down the field, throw it down the field, and pretty much do whatever they want, that's if your offense can score as much as they want to score, but if you can't stop nobody, it don't matter.
Yeah, I hear you, man. At the end of the day, man, I want this to be clear. I really
hate the Cougs.
I don't hate the Cougs. You know I don't, man. You know I got love for y'all, man, until that time of year, right after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really hope you guys pick it up. I really hope for the sake of those young men that they pick it up, because I mean, and I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but I'll put myself on the spot. I thought the way that Coach Leach called them out a couple of weeks ago, calling them fat, lazy, entitled kids, was unfair and unwarranted. And I don't know if he was trying to get them fired up. I just think that may have had an opposite and negative effect on his team. And I hope that they start winning some games, man, because I think that's good for young men and their morale after you've been beat up and berated and taking such a hard first half of the season, man.
If that's the problem, T, our team is too soft.
Well,
if they feelings is hurt about what Coach Leach said, the kids is too soft. And I'm glad he said it. I'm glad he said it.
You glad he said it?
Yeah.
You want somebody to call, like if you got a kid out there, you want him to say, your kid been putting in work all summer, all spring, mat drills, weight room, eating right, running good, all that. And then
eating right, running good.
All
right.
And coach will say, yeah, your son is fat and lazy and entitled just because he lost.
If he was playing on the defense that let the offense put up 60-plus points, he definitely wasn't eating good enough in the offseason. Something's not right.
Maybe you wasn't coaching good enough.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. And you got to look at everybody. Yeah. So even though Coach Leach comes out and says that, and I don't know if he made mention of the coaching staff, he should have and took a little bit of that blame himself. But it's true.
Yeah, I guess so.
You got to tell the truth, T.
Sometimes you got to tell the truth.
That's the only way to get better.
But I think that's a locker room conversation too. You don't go to
sometimes
you don't go to the press and say,
you got to take everything you get with Coach Leach, the greatness, the craziness, and everything that come with it. So you can't pick and choose, brother.
You're right. All right. Hey, listen. At the end of the day, I hope they win. I hope the Huskies win, and I hope the Apple Cup is just as fire as it has been for the last several years, because we got some wagering to do once again, True. You know what's up.
I'm ready. I need some get back. I ain't never won, I don't think. It's been some years
now.
Not
since I don't know you. Speaking of college, though, man, I got this story that popped up, man, a couple of weeks ago that has to deal with the college in the Midwest, Kansas. The basketball powerhouse of Kansas, right?
Yeah.
They had their special, what is called the late night. What is it? They call that the late night in the fog, whatever that's supposed to mean. It's really to kick off their basketball season. They do the whole thing, Midnight Madness type of deal. Okay. They bring in entertainment and whatnot and get the whole fans hyped up for the basketball season, right? And so somebody had the bright idea to invite none other than Snoop Dogg to come perform at this KU event. Again, it's called Late Night in the Fog, and it's a popular family event that kicks off the university's basketball season. But this year, Snoop Dogg was invited, and he showed up and performed with some thinly clad dancers, stripper poles, expletive songs, and a money gun. I know you done seen the money gun before, right? Where you put the stacks inside the gun, the stacks of dollar bills, and you shoot it, and it just shoots off singles at the strippers.
I done heard of it, T. I ain't never seen
Allegedly.
one.
I ain't seen one in action either.
Yeah.
I think I saw one on like eBay,
Right.
Amazon or something like that once
I
upon a
would
time.
like to have one, though.
Yeah, you want to throw some, you want a pole too?
I would like one of those as well. Yeah. You
Oh,
never know.
Hell no.
You never know.
You never know. Hey, listen, but I guess KU kind of, they weren't expecting what they got from Snoop Dogg, and the KU director of athletics, Jeff Long, had to issue a statement apologizing to KU fans for the show, and he went on to say, and I quote, "We apologize for the Snoop Dogg performance at late night. We made it clear to the entertainers' managers that we expected a clean version of the show and took additional steps to communicate to our fans, including moving the artist to the final act of the evening to ensure that no basketball activities would be missed if anyone did not want to stay for his show." Why you always So,
my God.
so, I mean, of course I want to get your opinion on this, True, but this is what I want to say to start this off, is that when you hired Snoop Doggy Dogg,
D.O. double.
it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none, Snoop. G's up, hoes down, Snoop. When you hired him to do your show, what did you think you were going to get?
They lying, first of all. KU, they knew everything. I saw a little story on the coach, so I guess they was under some investigations, right? As far as
some money exchanging,
getting to the money and all that kind of stuff. He had a little video, had the gold chain on, and was kind of playing into it a little bit. So it's kind of funny that this comes soon after. But I thought it didn't look like anybody was having a bad time during the concert. To me, I didn't see very many people
covering their ears,
getting up and leaving and covering their eyes.
I can't believe this.
And I know it's a kid-friendly event, but everybody who was there had to know that Snoop was coming. So if you are going to bring your underage kids to a basketball game and Snoop is going to be there, you may want to prepare for that as a parent. So
you saw the ticket.
Yeah.
You saw the advertisement.
Yes,
you
you
knew
did.
Snoop Dogg was coming.
You knew.
And it's not like Snoop Dogg is a new artist.
Right. And what I heard, T, I don't know if it's fact, but I heard that they had to pre-set up the stripper pole in order for the whole situation to go down. So
they had to. Because
what
think about it, they were playing
university-
basketball before, right?
Right.
So they had to put the poles out.
What university don't know what's going on their facilities, they gym floor that they paid tons of money for,
The hundreds and thousands of millions, buku bucks.
buku bucks for, and they don't know what's going on. So like I said, it's just funny to me, but I would have enjoyed, as a young man, a show from Snoop at Washington State.
I'm saying.
It might help with recruiting.
It would help. You have no doubt that
Right.
would help with recruiting. If I'm a young kid, I'm 17, 18 years old, and I'm sitting in the stands, and I don't know what's going on. Like, maybe they didn't tell me, and I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden, Snoop come up. I'm like, oh, that's Snoop Dogg. Oh, I love Snoop. And then come some strippers with some fake money flying. I'm
Going down. I'm signing on the line right
where
now.
I sign at, coach. Johnny be good. Johnny football. Sign me up, man. I'm playing there. No, I just think it's weird. Again, it's a situation of CYA, cover your ass. That's a lot of that going on around these days. Stuff comes out. Stuff happens. The end result isn't what you wanted it to be, what you predicted it to be. Then now I gotta issue this statement saying I'm appalled. I didn't plan for this. CYA.
A heartfelt apology. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah. All you gotta do is.
Does it really matter that it? I mean,
No.
does it?
No. Not at all.
Glaze over it. It'll be on Twitter and your Instagrams for a little bit now, but
And then
Not
you
very
apologize.
Yeah.
Maybe go to therapy.
Check out the Barbershop Show on Barbershop Show on at Instagram and on Twitter, Barbershop Show _. Thank you very much,
Thank
ladies
you,
and gentlemen.
Marcus, for putting that out there. Hey, before we get out of here, man, on the flip side of the coin of the Snoop Dogg conversation, though, there was another recent performance at another college. This time, It was your boy, Kanye to the West.
Mm-hmm.
He did he's doing these things now, these little pop-up shows.
Right.
They call them Sunday service. And it's basically like, I don't even want to call it. Like, it seems like he's trying to create his own little cult, man. But I hate to call it that, but that's basically. I mean, he's having a church service where they're getting up singing songs. They do choir songs, and then they'll do some Kanye songs, and then I guess they'll get up there and speak the word. But whatever. So he did one of these pop-ups. Out of all places, Howard University.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that don't understand, Howard University is a historically black college. And Kanye decided to do his pop-up service, Sunday service, there during their homecoming weekend. And the reason why that struck me is because we know recently Kanye has been, he has joined the MAGA crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's had some controversial statements regarding his political views, his new political views, his new political beliefs. And he, said at one point slavery is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's performing at Howard, and it wasn't very well received by everyone that was there. So before we get out of here, True, what is your take on Kanye showing up to do Sunday service at Howard?
I like Yeezy, man. I like Kanye. He's I think he's a troubled individual.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there of when and why and how, and as far as his mom and her death and all that kind of stuff. And he kind of changed and went off the rails. But personally, I would gravitate towards saying he's just in this industry, man, that sometimes it just gets people. Mm-hmm. It just gets people when you get caught up. And we see a lot of young stars, a lot of young rock stars or whatever. Things happen, man. You have ODs, you have all types of crazy stuff. So I think Kanye is just a victim of that, and I think he's trying to find himself, but and you can't please everybody, and I think he knows that. So I think he's just going for what he knows now. I don't think he really cares, and he's just out to make sure that him and his family is happy. And I feel for the guy, honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just think it was it was weird. I think it's a little bit of pandering. I think, you had a rough year running behind this whole MAGA thing, the MAGA hat, the black people, slavery was a choice deal. And now he's trying to, come back home. He's got an album coming out pretty soon. Mm-hmm. So he got to sell some albums. So, hey, let's.
The industry.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate, and I really hope he finds his way back to wherever he feels his true center is, because I feel he's been pulled in a lot of different directions, probably for a lot of different reasons. He hasn't been in the real world for a long time. If we're just being honest, he hasn't had
industry. That's what I'm saying, bro.
It's the industry and the Kardashian. So none of that is based in reality, and they are able to create their own reality that.
She's doing some good stuff. Allegedly,
I mean, she's
though,
doing.
right?
She's doing some stuff with the prison reforms,
right,
and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, it's still nothing about that is real. You talking about they live in a bubble,
right?
That most people have no idea of what that life is like, and where you can do anything, have anything, go anywhere. Nobody can tell you no,
right?
About anything, and so. I just hope we find his true center, and we get back to college dropout. We get back to Jesus Walks.
Through the wire.
Through the wire. Hey, want to say thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of the Barbershop Show. We appreciate you guys for doing so. We'll be back again next week and every week throughout the rest of the season. So make sure you stay tuned. We got lots of cool stuff lined up for you. You can follow Marcus Trufant at
Marcus_Trufant Instagram and Marcus Trufant on Twitter.
And you can find me at Terry Holloman, Terry Holloman, spelled HOLLIMON. I gotta say the O because everybody calls me a man all the time. But Terry Holloman, like a Jamaican mon, at everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, follow our friends at Home Trust Bank. That's where you can go and get all your loans and mortgages. every option that you need is out there available to you. Again, thank you guys, and we will catch you next week.